You probably already know this, Darren, but found something interesting in the chicken market this week.
Welcome to Cue the Mic. I'm Darren Worth.
I'm the overly handsome Randy Twyford, thank you.
And I'm Emma Derflinger, and this is episode 109.
109. And we got Maybelle here with us this morning.
We do. She's being extra clingy this morning.
Little clingy.
Little clingy. Big mama's girl.
Big mama's
She
girl.
looks it.
Yeah. But she won't distract me at all.
Hey, before we get started, we need to do a shout out to our friend Heath Riles for winning Memphis in May on ribs.
Memphis in May. So he won ribs last year, but this year he won ribs and the overall.
Oh, yeah. He won. Didn't he win the overall? No, the shed won the overall last year.
He just won ribs last year, but this year he had never won the overall. So this year he won ribs and the overall.
So in the last few years, ribs have come back.
Yeah.
Because it went for years that ribs never won.
Yeah. That's
probably back from the era with Mike and Pat Burke.
The year that I went, that's the reason I went, because they hadn't won in 19 years. And I'm like, these son of a bitches got to be due.
Yeah.
And it was the only world championship that we didn't have. So that's why we cooked ribs when we went to Memphis the one year. And, we proved that wrong. Yeah. It wasn't the year for ribs either that year.
I know the feeling.
But, man, you talk about – I was trying to find award streaming last night because and I couldn't find it anywhere.
I couldn't either.
And then finally Blues Hog went live right at the end. And then they went off. And then somebody posted that Heath had won.
Yeah, I saw it too. I saw a thing this morning where it showed Bob Gibson got reserve. Chris Lilly and those guys got reserve.
He did get reserve.
Yeah. And then the first place went to Heath. So.
Huh. Yeah, he's worked it. He's worked it hard. Yeah,
and with the seasonings and all that stuff, I admire Heath. He does a really nice job with the seasonings and the sauces.
Done a nice job from his old days. He's made a career out of it.
Yeah. So pretty interesting.
Right on.
Emma's sitting there going, "Who is this guy?"
No, I'm not.
You're not.
I mean, I am, but that wasn't what I was. Maybelle's looks like she's up to
one
no
other
good.
thing is, on a side note of many side notes that we have on here,
Okay.
we could have used the damn it Randy shirts last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's going on?
I was doing a catering for a 50th wedding anniversary, and they had an orchestra, and they were very orchestra. No, it was a band, Hip Bone Slim. And they were very crowd involvement, and they would pick out people. And like there was the Miller family. They like, "What's your name?" And they said, "Well, we're the Millers." Oh, they own Miller Brewing Company, So I was standing over at the doorway, waiting for them to come in and eat, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm the caterer." "What's your name?" "Randy." And they go, "Well, everybody, when you want to get ready to eat, go over and see Damn It Randy." And then all the time while I was there, they would go, "Damn it, Randy, is the food ready yet? Damn it, Randy, when are we going to be able to eat?" So I was thinking of our T-shirts. So, but nice orchestra, nice social.
Nice social. When you said that band name, reminded me of Watermelon Slim.
There you go. He's a icon in the blues music.
Still, my picture of Randy on my phone when he calls is Randy in Madison, Indiana, just drunker than two fucking skunks.
No, come on.
Yeah. Standing there with water. He's like, "Hey, take my picture." and he had Watermelon Slim, the old blues artist. He's probably dead by now.
No, he played Jackson. Just saying how his careers went. He played Jacksonville a couple years ago at the City Park celebration. So
he had Watermelon Slim in the background.
And I was giving him one of these.
He's 76, but still alive.
He's 76.
I used to do a lot of research on him. I like his music, and he's led a very hard life. Truck driver. I think he might have been incarcerated at one time or another.
Oh.
But I remember he pulled up. We were out on Asshole Alley, which that was our place that we parked, and he pulled up during the barbecue contest in big old Cadillac or whatever, and he goes, "Hey, where's the stage?" And we're like, "Well, about 5 blocks that way." "Okay, thanks."
In a very gravelly voice, I'm sure. Do you think he's ever smoked cigarettes?
He was born in 1949. Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of had a gravelly voice.
Gravelly voice.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Cool.
Damn it, Randy.
Damn it, Randy.
Had the Damn It Randy shirts. Missed that opportunity. So Randy was sharing with me before, we were talking. I was talking to somebody, and they were talking about Randy always being sick.
Yeah.
He's always got something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Randy, you want to share your little story before even Emma got on here?
Well, yeah, I don't have my cure for these colds and stuff. I think it's just allergies and bullshit that I've had. But I've had some intestinal problems.
He's had the screaming shits for years.
Yeah, I've had the screaming shits lately. I had to miss the other day because of. So, it's kind of like one of those deals that if you got a scab on your hand and you pick it and it hurts, how do you keep it from hurting? You don't pick it. So, that's some words of wisdom for this morning.
Okay.
Brought to you by Celsius Playa Vibe.
We get not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but just a damn good flavor. Playa Vibe. Pina Colada. Anyway, so I got to thinking, I have been known to partake of a little ice cream before I go to bed at night. And I'm like, I wonder if that would have anything to do with it. Because if I'd had ice cream, then I had the screams the next morning. So again, thinking, well, let's figure this out. So little R&D, and I quit eating ice cream, and I'm cured. So
how many days have we gone? No ice cream. How many days have you done this?
Probably about 4.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and
was it just like one day?
No. It wasn't a one-day deal. No, Emma, when I do a project, I have to do a lot more research, get a full research capabilities of it. So
okay,
I'm not just half-assing things. So
okay, I was just making sure.
Okay, but anyway, long story short, if you get up in the morning, you have the screaming shits after breakfast, there's a pretty good chance, and you had ice cream that night for supper, you got lactose.
Got the lactose.
You got a bad case of the lactose. So I feel like I'm born again.
Yeah, so now you got to watch it because, I've got the lactose. But you know what's worse than ice cream?
What's that?
Pimento cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So the cream cheese, anything with cream cheese, but now even like pizza will, cheese, but cream cheese, sour cream, and milk or heavy cream.
Right.
Which really, on this diet, this 1,400 calorie diet worked out in my favor because all that shit's got a lot of calories anyway, including ice cream.
Yes.
Now,
Lots of sugar.
I did a little switch to almond. I don't drink much milk. I don't drink any milk, but I did switch to the almond milk when I did, and the almond milk I actually prefer better than regular milk.
Well, I
But
kind of
I never drink it. But
Well, that's what I have a morning with my morning omelet. Is
some
I
almond
drink
milk.
almond milk.
with
In my
almond
coffee.
milk.
Yeah.
So I guess if I was to get one of those fancy ass coffee drinks, I would want to request it with almond milk instead of
Yes. Whoa.
that. Hey, settle down. there.
Sit. Whoa. Sit.
I think
sit.
Lane's awake. So,
Are you at your house or Lane's house?
no, I'm at Lane's.
Man, she sure lives in sin a lot, Randy.
Whoa.
I ain't gonna say anything about it.
Whoa.
I suppose if you better
Whatever.
try on the shoe before you buy it, that's
What the
normally
hell
what
is
I
wrong
do.
with you
Yeah,
two?
you're exactly right.
We're
right?
just
But I can't say anything. I lived in sin for like 4 or 5 years, so
Yeah, I did. Sherry and I never went on a date. We just slept together for a
Oh.
year before.
my God.
Yeah.
don't feel bad about yourself.
Don't
Emma.
feel
You're
bad
all
about
right.
it.
No, birds of the feather flock together. Is what I've always
That's
said.
not what's
That's
happening.
why we mesh so well.
Yeah, exactly. We're all sinners at
And
heart.
don't worry,
That's
your
not-
mom won't listen to this until like tomorrow morning at like 7:30.
Yeah, and also
Then
not
it'll
the
be,
case.
Emma, what the hell's going on here?
Not
Emma, what are you
It's
guys talking
just-
about? Your sex life on the podcast?
we're not. We're not. You two are, and it's weird. And it's not. It's. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. This might get cut. I probably
Okay,
cut it.
nope. This segment now complete.
Ah, Jesus.
That segment.
Hey,
complete. We got her all riled up.
I speaking of barbecue contests, I was online last night and I saw them fucking cousins of yours stole your trailer again yesterday.
Yeah, I know. The son of a bitch.
You need to keep that under lock and key so they can't take off in it
I
and
know.
cook under your name.
I know the cocksuckers. I mean, they went down to southeast Iowa. Cooked under
Owatonna?
my name. Cooked under my name again. Here
Ottumwa.
I was.
Owatonna?
Ottumwa.
No,
Oh,
it was
I
always,
always think it's
it was
Owatonna.
always for Randy. It was years. You cooked in Ottumwa, and he goes, "Oh, we're going to Owatonna." And I'm like, no,
You
Randy,
were-
it was Ottumwa. It was Owatonna.
Yeah.
I was in Ottumwa yesterday.
Well, I wasn't. My cousins were.
Them sons of bitches. They slip away on you.
You were in
Continue.
Ottumwa yesterday.
Yeah, I had a grad party.
Where at?
Next to Tequila Grill.
Well, let me tell you the best thing about Ottumwa this weekend.
Okay.
Okay. So my cousins invited me down for lunch on Friday,
Oh, okay.
and we went. I thought we would go to the place we would normally go, Morgan's Corner, for a burger.
Oh, good burgers. Know the
Good
owner.
burgers.
Good guy.
Oh yeah, me too.
His daughter graduates today.
Oh really?
Yeah. Can you?
So I figured we'd go there, but the boys said, "Oh no, we're going to Cerro Gordo Meat Market." And I'm like, "What?" And in the meantime, I've got Amanda in the background going, "You got to go to Chami's and get a tenderloin." And I'm like, "Well,
That's true.
first, I'm in a motorhome. I'm kind of at everybody's grace of where we're going." "You
So in
gotta
other
go
words, you had to mooch
Chami's."
a ride.
I had to mooch a ride. So we went to the Cerro Gordo Meat Market. And so this is downtown Ottumwa.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just east of the canteen, a couple blocks, by the old movie theater. And I tell you, you talk about amazing.
Really?
So Jose comes out, and Jose
Okay.
is pretty good friends with the guy at Dusty at Warehouse Barbecue, right?
Yeah.
So they want to go get tacos. So you walk through this Mexican grocery store, and they have, like most Mexican grocery stores, this amazing meat counter with chorizo and al pastor, and they had steaks and just huge meat selection. And then you get to the end, and they had this little hot case, and they had burritos, and tacos and whatever. And they just, on a piece of paper written out there, they had listed out what kind of tacos. They had al pastor, and they had steak, and they had birria and queso birria tacos. But the special of the day was carnitas.
Oh, okay.
Now, I am a carnita connoisseur.
I was going to say that's kind of your special.
That carnitas is my jam. If I go to any Mexican restaurant, the first thing I go to is carnitas, and I will judge any Mexican place by the quality of their carnitas. And so they could buy carnitas by the pound or whatever. So I decided, I'm going to try their birria too. And they were little street tacos, $2.50, little street tacos. So I had 2 birria tacos and 2 carnita tacos. And the rice looked amazing. So I had a little bit. I said, I just want a little cup of rice. Well, the cup of rice was a styrofoam plate this big, full of rice, 9-inch styrofoam plate full of rice.
I can imagine.
With a nice deep fried jalapeno on it. It was like out of this world good.
Really?
Now, Jeff from Shigan, he wanted a burrito, and he wanted 2 meats in the burrito. Well, they misunderstood him and brought him 2 burritos. The burritos were like huge. I mean, they were actually, matter of fact, I took a picture of his 2 burritos. His 2 burritos were that.
Oh my!
Right?
Yeah, those are good sized burritos.
Crazy. Burritos was $9, and the burritos had rice and meat and whatever. The tacos
Damn.
were $2.50. So anyway, Jose then starts bringing out stuff. So they brought out the food. So it was one of those places, just order. They wrote down a ticket. They only had like 3 tables in the back that seated 12 people total.
Right.
And you could stop by, and they had get your pop and get your beer. They had coolers full of beer or merchandisers full of beer, and just get your beer, get your pop, water, whatever you want, and just you pay for it later at the front counter. One of those deals. So we're sitting there eating our tacos, and Jose comes out and he goes, "You guys want to try my carnita tamales?" Hell yeah, we do.
I bet.
Brings out these tamales, and they were like, the carnita tamale with a red sauce in them, over the top good. Matter of fact, Darren got a dozen to bring home. Actually shared some with some other people before he brought home. That's what I had for dinner last night. Not a very good diet plan, but it's fine.
Good food.
It's authentic, so it's probably better for you.
Oh, huh?
It's authentic, so it's probably better for you anyway.
Yeah, lard and corn. Yep, lard and corn. Yep, it was authentic. There was no preservatives in that shit, I guarantee. So anyway, he keeps bringing stuff out. And then he brings out a bottle of tequila.
Oh, boy.
With coffee cups, because he didn't have shot glasses. So
Respect.
coffee cups. And so he just keeps bringing all this stuff out and just different stuff to try. And he goes, I said, well, tell me about your carnitas. And he goes, well, come back to the kitchen. Sweet. You invite me to a kitchen? I'm going.
Right.
Go back, and he's got this big stainless steel cauldron. And he goes, my family all cooks in copper, but my local health department won't let me cook in copper. So I had to make a stainless pot. But he said they cook all night long this pork, and they do pork shanks and pork shoulders and everything, and this carnita. And he says, so we fill it full of lard, and they cook it hot to start off with, because they got to get it heated up to temp.
Right.
And then they reduce the heat and slow cook it. And it was just sitting there just stewing in this
just
lard.
Bubbling.
It wasn't even bubbling. It was just like it was fucking amazing, actually.
Fill her up with lard, though.
It was full of lard. And so he grabs a strainer and grabs out this pork shank. And it looked like one of those huge, it looked like a pig wing, a hog wing.
Yeah.
and he grabbed it and throws it on a paper plate. Or he throws it in a 9x9. Actually, I have a picture of that too for all you people that look. He throws it in a 9x9, right?
I'll be damned.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a piece of bread he put it on?
Well, no, that's just a 9x9.
Oh,
That's
I
just
thought
a
it looked
9
like
by,
a piece
that's
of bread.
grease. That's grease all the way around it.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
So he says, here, try this. And we try, and it's just amazing, right? Just so simplistic pork flavor. And he goes, hang on. So he goes and gets some onion and cilantro and some diced up tomato, diced up jalapeno, and kind of makes his own kind of homemade pico de gallo. He says,
Right.
take a piece of that and put some of that homemade pico on it. He goes, try it. He goes, changes the flavor, doesn't it? And I'm like, yeah, just totally changed the flavor of the pork.
Amazing.
And he goes, oh, hang on. Let me go get some bread. So then he goes up front and gets a fresh torta, a Mexican roll. And he tears off a piece of torta. And he goes, okay, now make yourself put the pork on there, put the pico on there. He goes, try it now. He goes, changes the flavor again, doesn't it? Yep, change the flavor again. He goes, that's what I grew up on. He says, tortas with carnitas with pico. He said, that was my meal growing up. That's my family right there. That's my heritage. And it was just it was great before the story. And then after the story, it was even better.
Sure.
And so he goes on to tell me that all these, because I've been a couple times up to Tama. There's a Mexican grocery store called El Galito. And I follow their social media. I've been up there a couple times and got there's a meat plant called Iowa Premium Angus in Tama that actually has, they produce a really high quality beef. And so you can buy beef ribs and stuff at a pretty significant reduction in price because it doesn't go through any distributor. So it goes right out of the beef plant right into this meat market. Right? Well, it's his uncle. It's his uncle.
Oh.
He goes, yeah, that's my uncle. And then we got my other uncles over in Davenport, another uncle's over in Moline. And so they have like 6 of these Mexican meat markets around the state.
Huh.
And
isn't that something?
They were going to put one in Ankeny. And I said, no, that doesn't work in Ankeny.
No.
And he goes, yeah, I kind of figured that out. And I said, yeah, Ankeny's kind of a chain restaurant place. This wouldn't work in Ankeny. It just would not work. Ankeny's a chain restaurant.
So you got 6 of them around the state, though.
But there's like 6 of them around the state and Western Illinois, Moline or whatever.
Right.
And just these little markets. And he said, everybody does their carnitas different, but he went into the process of cooking the carnitas. And he says, you have to cook them hot and then you have to reduce because you don't want them sticking to the bottom of the pot. So it's all about the stir. And when you start to feel like it's going to stick, then the heat has to come down. I said, what temperature are you cooking at? He goes, I don't know. He didn't have a clue what temperature he was cooking at. It was just
by
on
feel.
this burner, and it was feel, and they adjusted the heat based upon the feel of the meat in the pot. And he said, my uncle in Tama, which I've never had their carnitas, his come out much darker because they cook a lot hotter. And the one in Davenport evidently is super high volume. They turn over hundreds and hundreds of pounds of carnitas a day. And he said they're all about super fast cooking carnitas because he said they'll put 300 pounds of carnitas in a pot and they'll turn that pot over like 6 times a day.
Get out.
Carnitas. Yeah.
Get out.
1,800 pounds of carnitas in a day.
But
he said the carnitas come out darker, and he doesn't believe the quality is near as good as he's producing. And I've never had a better carnita than I had there in Saragordo. I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, and I will now drive, if I really want authentic Mexican, I will drive to Ottumwa, to Saragordo Meat Market. And Emma, you're down there all the time.
I'm going to have to check it out.
I would just go check it out. In the back of that, just
in the back of the grocery store.
In the back of the Mexican grocery store.
Their Mexican restaurant, Tequila Grill, is pretty good too. Just,
Yeah, these tacos,
this is good to know.
super good.
Huh.
This is good to know.
Super good. But as far as contest, we just ate tacos. They don't seem to. I played around with a couple things. I went back from legs to thighs. I tried to I was sick of people turning in mushy thighs, so I kind of undercooked my thighs a little bit like I used to, trying to maybe hit an edge, and that didn't work. They didn't like the tenderness. They loved the flavor of them. They didn't like the tenderness of them, so that kind of killed me. Ribs, I switched sauce. I didn't inject them at all. I went back to my restaurant rib. I thought it was a pretty decent rib. They liked the taste of it. They wanted a mushy rib, evidently. Pork. I win my table in pork. Thought I had good pork, put it on the table. Won my table in pork for 18th place out of a 33 team contest. Just a horrible table. Wade Reeder out of Hannibal from There's No Place by Smoke. He had 3 top 5 calls. He hit the same table as me in pork. He got third on his table and ended up getting killed. Threw him right out of. He got 8th place. He should have easily got reserve and had a chance at grand, but he got 8th place by hitting that table.
Wow.
And then brisket. Brisket I thought was pretty decent, maybe just a little tad overdone. But I hit I hit 18th in chicken, 13th in ribs, 18th in pork, 13th in brisket, something like that.
Wow.
No calls. I don't even figure it. 13th overall, whatever, but it was fine. Our buddy Wags won. He was on a drought, so it was great to see him win. We had fun nonetheless. The good time, but the fucking wind.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
atrocious.
fought that wind, and when I pulled up to park, I parked, and I was clear on the west side of the contest, and so there was nobody parked on the left side of me, so I was the wind block for all the other teams.
Oh, Jesus.
Holy shit balls.
How was it driving that motorhome down there?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Even driving home last night in the wind, it cuts through it pretty good.
Boy, some bad storms south of us, down in Marion and St. Louis, and
that's what I heard. Just got slammed. That part of the country this year, whether it's rain or hail or tornadoes, they've gotten the brunt of it this year. Just got murdered.
Look how big this tornado was.
yeah,
St. Louis.
St. Louis just got destroyed.
This is from the arch. You can see it.
What'd they do to piss off Mother Nature?
I don't know.
And Marion, I guess, got hurt pretty bad too. So
Really?
And then over in Kentucky.
Yeah, the weather is just crazy. I mean, I swear we live in Kansas now. I got home last night, and Sherry's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Getting out of the fucking wind." I was so sick of being in the wind. I said, it could have downpoured on me all day long, and I'd been happier.
Yeah, I would agree. Oh, wait a second. Whoa, what the fuck?
What the fuck? This interruption
UPS man must be there. UPS man must be there.
Nelly.
Hey.
Sit, Ubu, sit.
Don't bark. I took her collar off last night, and I forgot to put it back on this morning.
The shock collar.
Yeah. She has a bark collar because she barks at the air. And then she's starting to get Twyla to turn into a barker.
Randy barks at the air too.
Yeah, most of the time.
So we get a call. So our buddies Shiggin and Grinnin, they left the contest yesterday. They got a ride home. They said, "Hey, if we get any awards, get them for us." And we said, "Okay." So they get a call. They got about 20 minutes up the road, and they have a motorhome pulling the trailer, and the hitch broke off their motorhome. The receiver hitch broke off the motorhome going down the road.
No kidding.
That's...
And trailer hitch went underneath the motorhome. Now, luckily, the chains caught it, and they just put a little bit of a dent in the motorhome bumper, which is no big deal. So anyway, they're trying to figure out what to do. So they called T-Rex, and his brother-in-law was there and had his pickup. So they went and they got it jacked up and got it on his pickup truck. And so they said, well, we're just going to take the trailer to Darren's house. And they got some ratchet straps and got the receiver hitch ratchet strapped up to the frame. It actually busted the frame of the motorhome, and it was factory too.
Oh shit.
But they ratchet strapped the frame up, or the hitch to the frame, and then he was supposed to bring it up to my house and drop it, and then they were going to figure out how to get the trailer home over the next week or two. And so anyway, he just sent me a little picture a little bit ago. His trailer was sitting in his driveway. Evidently, he had a buddy down here in southern Iowa that was coming home last night, stopped and picked up the trailer somewhere, and off he went. So, but they ended up getting third overall. They got a couple calls, so I was going up and getting their awards, and I was having fun with them. I was flipping off the camera with their awards, and so I had to send him pictures for social media, for his for winning.
Yeah.
So I went and took his pictures. Normally, every time he leaves and he wins something, I go put his trophies in the toilet.
Okay.
And I take pictures in the toilet, just as kind of a fun thing. Yesterday, went and took pictures by my receiver hitch of my trailer. I sent them to him.
Ouch. Ouch.
If you can't score in barbecue, you might as well have fun with somebody else.
That's exactly right.
But that's
No
okay.
kidding.
I don't have to worry about barbecue. We're off to Florida this week.
Good
Ew.
for you. Hey, how was your Mother's Day there at the restaurant?
Mother's Day was good. Well, Mother's Day was good, kind of.
Oh,
What do you mean?
what kind of?
Well, so I get a
Everything was
call.
broken?
Huh?
Because everything was broken?
Well, I get that call. When did we record? Did we record?
We record? Yeah, we talked about how your
how
chain broke.
the chain
Yeah.
broke.
Something
How the chain broke. We got the chain back on. Got the chain back on. It ran for an hour and then popped out again. So it was down. Well, it ended up being that whole shaft shifted. So on
Was
Monday,
the bearing out?
No, the bearings were fine. But
What
what
caused it
happened
to
was,
shift?
the set screws on that bearing were like finger loose.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if they never
No more barking.
I don't know how they could have gotten loose like that, but they were loose. So anyway, that whole shaft had shifted like 3/8 of an inch.
I'll be damned. Boy, it doesn't take much.
So all we did was I put somebody on the other end. I grabbed a 2x4 or grabbed a log and a sledgehammer and pounded that shaft back to where it was true, tightened down it. And then it took, of course, then you have to go through the pulley and, tighten it up. And it took about 3 hours, and then you get it all aligned, and it's been, knock on wood, been running ever since.
I'll be damned.
But then our fun was our internet provider. At 10:45 in the morning, we lost internet.
Oh.
And when you lose internet, that means you not only
don't
lose
take
your
orders.
POS system, you lose your phone system when you have internet phones.
Yeah.
And we have fiber. This is why we have fiber. And this is the first time we've ever lost internet at that location since we put in fiber in 3 years. And so I get a call after screwing around. I get back home and they called, we don't have internet. So I'm like, okay, well, the cellular modem's sitting at the jam. Grab the cellular modem. I'll meet you at 2nd Avenue. So within 15 minutes, we got it down there. We got it hooked up to our Sonic wall, which is our whole network security thing. And we got the POS system live, which the POS system was live. We weren't verifying any credit card information.
Right.
So we got the system live, but we could not get the phone system live. We could not. It didn't have enough power to get the phone system.
That's
live.
what I was wondering, if just one of those hotspots would pull all that shit.
Well, what ended up happening, we called the support. Well, we didn't get the support. They didn't have after-hours support, evidently. Well, what happened was that was set on that phone system was set on a static IP address. And when I plugged in the cellular, that was on a different IP address.
Right.
And the phone system wouldn't recognize it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we spent Mother's Day with no phone system.
Oh boy.
Now, as you can imagine, we do about $5,000 worth of call-in orders a day on a busy day.
On a busy day.
On a busy day.
Not compared to Mother's Day.
Not, yeah. So anyway, I put something out on Facebook and said, hey, we're down. We don't have phone systems, so we'd appreciate it if you'd just place your orders online. Here's the link. Here's everything. So then we do the link. I put up the link in our toast, and guess what? It shows a picture of the jam on our online ordering for Smokey D's. The picture is of the jam restaurant.
Why? How?
You tell me. I don't know. And I still, to this day, a week later, have not figured that out. Why the image? Because the images in Toast do not show that. But what's showing up is of the jam. And I explained that to customers. I said, even if it's going to show the jam, don't worry, it's still Smokey D's. So we still did about 10,000 online orders, or 10,000 online orders. So most people made that switch over. And I think
switch over.
it's good because then people, once they make it, maybe they'll go, hey, that's a lot easier than calling in.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see if they make that transition to ordering stuff in. But, you know, the good news is we did $500 more than we did the year before.
Really?
That's good.
Well, that's good.
Even with all
the technical
that,
issues.
even with all the technical adversity issues and everything that was going on. But
So what'd they come up with on your internet? What was wrong with that? Or just said, oh, it's just one of those things that fucked up.
Oh, no, we finally, so the internet, Mid-American Energy, lost power to the building downtown that housed the server farm or the network equipment for the fiber company. It also, the same building housed the U.S. cellular network.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
U.S. Cellular lost their entire cellular network that day.
Yeah.
The building
And AT&T lost some too.
The building had backup generators, which failed too.
Huh.
So they brought in backup generators to the backup generators, which finally got installed at 9:00 on Sunday night and ran until Mid-American finally they tried to make a cutover, which failed. And so finally, Tuesday night at midnight,
Holy shit.
Tuesday night at midnight, they finally got restored back to full power.
Yeah.
And trust me, I got an email from the fiber company every 15 minutes from Sunday morning until Tuesday night. They're really great about status updates.
Yeah.
About what's
They're just
going
covering
on.
their butts.
If you
they want to keep you in the loop.
Yeah. So
wow.
Let's just say it was just a little bit of adversity.
A little bit.
The moral of that story is maintenance on your generators.
Well, and the moral of the story is, and I still haven't got it done, is now I will have cellular backups at each location for $50 a month. So they're just automatically plugged in. So even if I'm gone and the IP, I'm going to go get cellular modems with static IP addresses so that our system will automatically phone and whatever just flip right over to it and just go. Right. Because right now it's still sitting at 2nd Avenue. And if the jam goes out or the chicken goes out, we're dead because they're all on fiber now. But fiber, it used to be get fiber. They're 99.9% uptime. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
Not that case. I thought about putting Starlink. Well, but the Starlink's a lot more expensive per month.
Right.
I mean, I've been happy with Starlink at home, but it's just a lot more expensive per month. Trust me,
Sure.
I thought about it.
For not going to be able to use it, not have to use it.
Or you could,
just got the
what I
fiber.
thought about doing was putting Starlink up on all 3 locations, deactivating them,
Right?
and then just, if you need it, throw it up, and then you got to
Right.
put it up for 30 days.
Right.
Because if you don't need it, you're not paying for it,
You don't have to pay for it. No, that's exactly right.
right? You only have to activate it when you need it. But then you got to pay for it for 30 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So then you might as well have it on for the 30 days.
Well, you're going to have it on for 30 days.
Oh. But then just turn it off again. But what if...
But then turn it off again.
And then what if something happens on day 32 and you got to turn
Then
it
you
back
turn
on
it on again and you're paying for it.
Then you
But
might as well just keep
chances
paying
are-
for it.
But chances are something's not going to happen. So if you go 6 months, you're not paying anything. For cellular, you're going to pay $50 a month, right? You're going to pay that $300. For Starlink, if you're paying 100 and some
I
bucks
get
a
it.
month,
I guess that makes sense.
Wow.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's good that people made the transition over to the online ordering.
Yeah, I figured we'd just take it in the shorts.
Sure.
But we actually had, and the jam had a really busy day, busiest day ever there.
Is
And-
it? Was it really?
Oh,
Yeah, and
breakfast for
after this got
Mother's
done,
Day.
I walked into the jam and they were lined up outside everywhere, just crazy. And I walk in the kitchen, we had 2 orders on the screen. And I said, wow, you guys are busy. And he's like, yeah, we're just trying to get people seated. He said, we haven't had a ticket over 15 minutes all day long. That's just because I'm like, so you're not going to have much problem when we put in a patio. You're like, no. So we've got that kitchen pretty fine tuned that
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess that
we can,
makes...
we can add more seats. We were always worried about the capacity of that kitchen. We're not worried about the capacity of that kitchen.
I'll be dang.
That's pretty
Interesting.
Interesting. So, yeah. So, anyway, now that everything's a well-oiled machine, we're going to go to Florida at the end of the week and take the grandkids.
good.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay.
That sounds so exciting for you.
Yeah. We'll report back. And, yeah.
I can't wait to hear all about it.
Yeah, Sherry and I
How
are
much
going to go a
fun you're
couple
gonna
days
have.
before, and then we're going to stay, and I might take up drinking again. I don't know.
No, you love your grandkids.
Oh, I love them to death. Have you ever
They're
spent
fun.
7 days straight with them?
Yeah. No, not yours.
Yeah, well, that's usually the most stressful week of the year.
No.
So anyway, but then I'm going to come back then for 3 or 4 days, and then I'm going to go to Canada fishing.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to believe it's fishing time.
I know, it's June.
What are we going to do with this
Yeah.
podcast? What are we going
What?
to record? What are we going to record?
You and Randy are just going to have to learn how to talk to each other.
Okay. Randy, can we do that?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay. I guess we can do that.
Maybe you can get Maybell. Maybe you can get. I can leave the stuff here, and maybe you can get. Maybe we can get your mom as a guest star.
Guest host. A guest. Yeah,
I would
yeah,
try.
That would be,
That'd be
that
fun.
would be interesting.
I don't know if she'd do it, but
She
fun
would
to
do
try.
it.
She'd do anything for Randy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard to believe it's fishing time already.
Yeah. Yeah, it started out last week. All the dock hands were in shorts and everything. I'm like, oh, don't warm up too much. And then yesterday, they're sending pictures of like rollers and the wind blowing and just crazy. And there was snow on the deck.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I'll be damned.
yeah, crazy. But that's what happens this time of year. So hopefully a couple more weeks get her laid down and
Well,
Yeah.
talking about the wind, I went out to the shed this morning to do a couple things, and friggin' wind is blowing like crazy already.
we just got a light breeze here today. So
Yeah, I was gonna say ours is light, but I think
No,
it's supposed
it's-
to pick up because
it
I was
is
gonna
supposed to
go-
pick up.
I think so because we were gonna go golfing, but now we're just doing a simulator so that we don't have to deal with the wind.
Well, it's a
Also-
beautiful day out.
I don't think Lane wanted to golf with me the full time because that's stressful for both of us because I am bad. And then I don't like to admit that I'm bad, so then I get angry.
Oh boy, that's not good.
No. No. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I
Found
talked
an
to-
interesting. You probably already know this, Darren, but found something interesting in the chicken market this week. That boneless, skinless thighs are more expensive than wings,
Yep.
significantly.
Chicken tenders have taken the rise too. Thank you, McDonald's.
Wait, why? What did McDonald's do?
Brought chicken tenders into the market.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's exciting.
So anytime,
Yeah.
no, it's not exciting because anytime you get a big player like that taking up capacity in the market, what happens is it just drives the price up for us small guys.
To
yeah,
the
they
point,
sure
I think,
did.
starting
Did
this
they-
week,
wait.
we're going to
But
put
did they
chicken
have
wings
them
back on the
before?
menu.
Years ago.
Yeah. Okay. And you're putting chicken wings back on the menu, Randy?
Yeah, we're putting chicken wings back on the menu for the food truck this week, or for as long as we can keep getting them bought right.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And then we did our boneless rib sandwich, did a test run on that, had 12 of them and sold all them out within about the first hour and a half, 2 hours.
What'd you do for a boneless rib sandwich?
Overcooked some ribs and then just popped the bones out of them and cut them into 3-bone sections. And then when we heated them up, just heated them up in a pan with barbecue sauce
Yeah.
and served them on a bun with pickles and onions.
So you had the old Twyford McRib.
Yep.
Ooh.
The old Twyford McRib. So, and they sold like hotcakes.
Hot
Really?
cakes. Oh, hot cakes sound good. Maybe I'll go to McDonald's today.
Really?
I can't think of the
No.
last time I was at McDonald's.
Not really. We were just talking about that the other day. I can't either. I don't.
I went last time I was in Florida because we have a McDonald's right by our house, and we had to catch a plane. But you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and I'm pretty fucking grumpy if I don't have something.
Right.
So I went and got just a sausage McMuffin.
I think that's the last I've been to a McDonald's is had breakfast. I don't know when I've had one of those sandwiches or whatever.
Yeah, I'll go out of my. Yeah, no,
I agree.
eating chemicals.
True.
Let me tell you a fun, not funny story. So
Oh,
we have.
I don't wanna hear it,
We
but-
have one of our listeners come from Western Iowa, and he sent me a message saying, "Hey, I'm coming up. I'm buying a. You guys are always talking about these Winston CVAP warmers, how great they are." And he said, "I found one in Ankeny for $400
Holy shit.
used." He goes, "I'm coming to pick it up. Are you around?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm running here, but the grandkids are coming over for dinner. I'm not going to be at the restaurant." So anyway, so the next day I'm sitting there and they call me. Our fucking Winston CVAP warmer goes bad.
Oh,
Oh.
So he buys one up the street for $400. The next day, mine goes bad. Now, I bought it in 2010.
okay.
Right.
So it's done
I've
some.
replaced the control board in it. I'm probably
You're
not
due
even
for an
gonna.
upgrade.
I'm probably not even. It's probably end of life. And I had damn near a brand new Alto Sham that I bought 2 years ago, sitting in, and I moved my under counter warmers to Alto Sham a couple years ago.
Now, why is that?
Well, because on the Winston CVAP, you measure fan speed and heat control and whatever.
Correct. I've got one.
And when you got a lot of employees, they tend to fuck with things.
Right.
And so
Oh.
they kept fucking with all the controls.
They can't just press a pre-programmed button.
No, they kept fucking with all the controls. So everything kept getting fucked up. And so everything was holding at the wrong temperature and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to get something simplistic for just holding hot sides on the line, just backup sides and backup ribs
Sure.
on the line. So we went to the under-counter auto sham that is turn it on, up or down, here's the temperature in digital. And it's worked amazing.
Huh.
Right? Amazing.
That's
now,
what we've got an auto sham. We got an auto sham in the food truck.
Yeah, we still have the Winston Retherm, for Retherm and all the sides and whatever, but
right
for holding stuff, we went to the auto sham. Well, I had bought one. There was one place in Kansas City had went out, and I had bought a half size and a full size one a couple years ago. And it's just sitting in the warehouse. And they said, oh, the CVAP went wrong. I said, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Well, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to go get the lift truck, load up that one. Boom. So I went and swapped them out within a half hour. I was all swapped out. And they're like, where'd you get that from? I said, always have a backup plan.
Right.
Always have a backup plan. So now I got to figure out what the new backup plan is.
What the new plan is. Yeah, those of mine, those Winstons I have, I mean, if they broke down tomorrow, they don't owe me any money. I mean, I've had them for years. Yeah. And they just work, just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that because I've got a lot of years on my retherms. I mean,
right.
the floats aren't working. The alarms constantly go off, and the auto water fills don't work on them. So we're having to fill them with 5-gallon buckets.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh God, it's just a fucking mess. But it's like, what do you do? What do you do?
I'd hate to think what a new one of those cost. So
I'm about ready to find out.
I'd be curious to know.
Times two.
Yeah, I'm. One of these mornings, I know I'm going to turn out there and it's just going to come across, say, I'm dead. I give up, And I know it doesn't get the workout yours does.
I can sell you some slightly used ones.
Okay. We may take you up on that because that's about all I'll need is slightly used ones. So.
Look at Twyla.
Them's for big dogs. They sleep in bed too with you?
Maybelle's not a big dog. But yeah, they sleep in the bed. Twyla doesn't, just because she doesn't want to.
Christ, I take that back about the comment. Hell, there ain't no room to do anything else in bed. You got both them fucking dogs in the bed with you.
I prefer to just sleep. Anyway, sleep is good.
Yeah, my sleep last night was, I was like, boy, I'm tired. I usually don't sleep well in the motorhome, and so the night before in Ottumwa, I'm like, I was just running the motorhome on batteries. I'm like, I really didn't need any power, and so I'm like, because they don't have power there, and so I'm like, I get ready to go to bed. I'm like, man, maybe I'm just going to turn on the generator and run a fan overnight. So I go to turn on the generator and black, the entire, shut down the power to the entire coach. I'm like,
oh, Jesus.
Fuck. At 9:30 at night, half hour past my contest bedtime.
Right.
And so I get down there and I shut it off and I reset. Couldn't get the generator started. So I reset the whole power grid. And I get my batteries back. Everything's working. I'm like, well, so I have a backup generator, right? Always have a backup plan. So I had a backup generator I brought for the trailer, and I had it underneath the belly of the thing. So I got it out, started it up, plugged the generator into it, or plugged the motorhome into it, went up, and it has this 20-second delay to make sure the power's good. 20-second delay. Wouldn't convert over the power. I'm like, what in the holy hell is wrong? So I'm like, fuck it. Shut the sumbitch off. I don't need no fan. Everything's fine. So then I went the next morning. I took the generator, plugged it into the barbecue trailer. Everything's fine. Right? I'm like, well, I'll just keep running battery. I get home last night, pull into the garage, plug the motorhome in. It all powers up fine. So I don't know.
Speaking of generator, we've got dates set to go get an extraction and on our generator. So
extraction.
Yeah. take it to St. Louis. Now I'm hoping this storm doesn't screw up the place. Easy. The storm hasn't screwed up the place I'm taking it to get it worked on at CK Power.
Yeah.
So knowing my luck, they got hit probably hard with a tornado. God
Yeah,
hope
they're
they
probably
didn't.
not longer there. Now you're back to square one.
Yeah. So waiting for another month to get it extracted and then inserted back in. So because they're going to extract on one day and then the next week do an insertation. You like that word, Emma? Insertation?
No, I don't think it's a word.
Oh, come on. I bet it is.
Bet it is.
Yeah,
I'll Google it
insertation.
right now.
Go to the Urban Dictionary.
Insert. I don't actually want to Google this because I'm not sure what's going to pop up. Okay, it is a word.
I knew
Hey, once again.
No, wait, it's not insertation, it's insertion. I misread that.
Well, it just
What's
depends how you say it.
insertion?
It's the same. It's what he's trying to say, but it's the
Insertation.
What is
Just
it?
insertion.
What's the meaning of it?
The action of inserting something. So, insertion.
So, Emma, how did your AI class end up?
I got an A+.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Overachiever.
Thanks. I'm actually doing I'm actually gonna do a presentation for work in July on AI image generation and stuff. One of our AI people now.
What's that mean, image generation?
I tell ChatGPT, or actually the new one is Sora. I tell Sora what I want it to look up.
Who's
You guys want to look?
Sora?
It's ChatGPT's image generation. Here, let me share my screen.
Sora.
How do you spell that? SORA?
Oh.
Kind of like I got a
Yep.
sore ass.
Yes, exactly.
See,
Let
I'm
me
pretty good
share.
at grammar.
ChatGPT. Okay,
What'd
Okay,
be
you
wrong
guys
with
see
you?
this?
You got a sore ass.
so you go into Sora. No. And you can. It's image generation
Yeah.
and video generation. So give me something that you guys want me to generate. Oh, here, hold on. I gotta share a different screen. Here we go.
Ooh,
Give me something you want me to
kind of
search.
satanic.
Not all of it. It's just what
Oh,
people
okay.
have
What do you want to
searched.
search?
Yeah, give me an image. Give me something to make.
Carnita tacos.
That's easy.
Yeah, that'll come up easy.
I wish you would have given me something harder. Like,
I'm thinking of something.
this is a T-shirt I helped my sister and her boyfriend make.
That's neat. That's
This is me
Carnita?
as
Well, that's the Pope.
this is me as the Pope. Here's a shark running like it's on Baywatch.
Is that a Carnita?
No, it's loading.
Oh, okay.
Tacos de carnita.
If it'll load.
Now this Soras is a program you can download. Is it, Emma?
No, so it's connected to ChatGPT. So if you go,
Do you have to be on ChatGPT Plus, a subscription plan?
nope, it's all free. So when you go into ChatGPT, with on the side, it gives you, it says Sora, and
Okay.
you just click on that. Or I mean, ChatGPT can also generate images, but Sora's like its new actual image generation thing, and also video generation. Oh, here you go, your carnita tacos. You didn't give it anything fun, so.
when are we ever going to have to figure out what's really real when you look at shit?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Oh, it's on my. I don't know. People think that legally, if you have an image generated on AI, that they should have a watermark.
Right. I agree.
But it's just you're figuring out all the ins and outs of that. But yeah, we're gonna start. I mean, we'll use it for inspiration at work to help with give graphic guidance and things of the sorts. And then
Graphic guidance.
yeah, it's like we make. I mean, yeah, just give you ideas,
Interesting.
tips and tricks. Yeah, but I'm gonna play around with it some more. Oh Jesus Christ!
I like the idea of taking one of our podcasts and making it into.
To babies.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do it with this one because there's a thing on our Riverside. It asked me if I wanted to do that last week.
Really?
Sounds like the dogs are playing.
Yeah, they are. They don't really like each other most of the time. But just means it's time to go.
I was going to say, do we have anything else to add for additions or corrections?
No.
I don't.
I think we're good. I think our 9:29.
We hit our hour.
I think our first catering of the day, chicken and waffles, picking up.
There you
Nice. All right. Well, if you haven't already, follow us on social media at Cue the Mic Pod. Find us on YouTube at Cue the Mic Podcast. Like, follow, subscribe, do all the things. You know the drill. Randy, take it away.
go. Ba-boom! Out of here.
Did you hear that?
Loud.
Ba-boom? That's because
Ba-ba-ba-boom!
he's solid.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
We're out of
Okay.
here.
We'll see you guys next week.